Alright, so I decided to kill two birds with one stone here. I'm going to make a video of me going through and working with this survey data so that you can see how it comes off Qualtrics. This is actual real data that I'm doing, data analysis that I'm doing for Dr. Cawthorn. So I'm going to probably pause a lot because there's a lot of stuff that needs to happen. And I'll show you what it looks like, and I'll start it and then pause and show you the completed project. Okay, so here's the actual survey. It's called Professional Learning Communities Assessment Revised, and each of these are a subscale. So shared supportive leadership has items 1 through 11. Shared values and visions has items 12 through 20. Collective learning and application, etc., shared personal practice, supportive conditions, relationships, supportive conditions, structures. Okay, so those are the subscales. And then I'm going to want to get an average of each of the subscales and then an overall score. So if I just click, so here we are in Qualtrics. And it looks like he's only got 22 questions, so we'll see what we have here. So I'm going to click into here, and oh, I see what he's done. So each of these is a matrix table. So he's got all the questions, these, and then he's got some open-ended questions as well. Okay, so what we're going to have to do is go in. This is his demographics, here's his directions, etc. I'm going to go into data and analysis. I'm going to go to export and import. I'm going to export data into SPSS. I'm going to say download. And I'm going to say open with it, Windows Explorer. It came up on my other screen. I'm going to double click. It's opening. I'll pause it. Okay, so here's how it comes off the computer. You can see that they started it on November the 7th, ended on November the 7th. Started on January 28th and so forth. It looks like he's got about I forget what it said, 476, and you can see that this start date, end date, status, IP address, all of this stuff is boilerplate. It's what comes off, and then you get these things, these variables, but I don't remember what those mean, so I have to go into variable view. SPSS will give what you type in as the label. So all of this stuff is kind of auto-populated by Qualtrics, and then here we have to go look at our labels and then make the variable label so that it makes sense. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up here, all of this to user language is all auto-populated by Qualtrics. I'm going to clear those. Alright, so here, what are my options? Central office administrator or school administrator. So I'm going to call this variable position. This is what describes your administrative role. Superintendent, assistant, instructional, principal, assistant principal, etc. I'm going to say admin _ role. What type of school? Public, charter, magnet. Call that one school _ type. How many years? I'm going to say years in position. Level _ education. Let's see, they have bachelor's, PhD, and here we don't have, oh, I guess he allowed a text entry here. Yes, see, it says text entry, so we'll just leave that one alone. Ethnicity, we'll call this one ethnicity, and then he has text entry, gender. You see, I'm having to do all this myself. So this is school administrators only. What is the grade configuration of your school? I'm going to say school type. No, we already have school type. School level. Now while I'm here, I'm going to go and save this as folder for Tom. So I'm going to save that. Okay. Now this is very convenient because of the way these are coded in. Q10.1, Q10.2, those don't really help me because I want to be able to go in and look and say SSL, that's this first subscale, SVV, that's the second subscale, CLA, SPP, etc. So let's go here, and it starts right here, so I'm going to go and do SSL. I'm going to shift, go back 3 letters, Control C, and then I'm going to go and do that, Control V for all of them. Just going to show you briefly, I'm now at collective learning and application. I'm continuing, I did this one, shared vision, values and vision. I'm going to continue to do the rest. Okay, so I've got everything labeled. I just left these as the way that they were auto-labeled because they're just the write-in, the fill in the blanks. And so what I need to do now is come up with an average score for each of these subscales. So remember, we're going to go into compute variable. We're going to say, if I right click on these, it gives us the label. So it gives us what's in the label. We want what's in the name. If I right click and say display variable names, it makes it much easier. So I'm going to say shared, so SSL av is going to be the name of my first variable. And so SSL average, I'm going to go in here and type in my parentheses. I'm going to click the first one and plus and do the second one. Whoop. I can just delete, highlight it, bring it over, plus, highlight it, bring it over, out. Okay, so I've got SSL 1 through 12. I'm adding them all up, and then I'm dividing by 12 to get this SSL average. I'm going to say OK, and it's going to put it here. I want to drag it and put it at the end. I just want to be able to see it where it is. Okay, I'm going to do that for each of these subscales. Okay, so I've gone to transform, compute variable, and I've done this for all of them. At the end of each one, I hit reset, display the variable name. I've got the average here, I've got the average here, here, and here. And you can see they're here. Okay, so now that I've got that, basically I've got my data set up the way that I want to. For the SPSS database assignment, this is all you have to do. You just have to label everything and turn it in. Okay, now just for the heck of it, I'm going to show you briefly. I've shown you in another video, but I'm going to do it here. I'm going to show you how to run reliability. I go into Analyze, I go to Scale, I go, to Reliability Analysis. I need to display the variable names. Now for reliability, you don't do the average score, you've got to do each item. So I'm going to hold down Shift. I've clicked the first one, SSL1, and I'm going to go down to SSL12. Hold down Shift and bring these guys all over. I don't want any of these statistics. I just want alpha. I'm going to say OK. And we can see that for that first subscale, we have a reliability of 0.934, or 936, so 0.94 is usually you do it to 2 decimal places. And so we had 433 people respond to all of those items that were included out of the 476. And so based on those 433, the reliability of this particular subscale was 0.94. But for your SPSS assignment, all I want is everything labeled like this. And I'm not going to do an overall sum score because there's I'm not sure that that's what the research wants. But if you need an overall sum score, then you would add all of the items together and divide by the number if it's an average, or if it's just a sum score, you would just add them, and that would be the overall score. Okay,